to our episode of Super Reaction Bros. I'm Chris.
I'm Christopher.
On today's episode, we are taking a look at the official cinema sins for everything wrong with a Star Wars story.
With Solo a Star Wars story, he said with a Star Wars story.
Whatever. So anyways, if it was obvious, this is of course Solo Star Wars story. It was a fine film. I know we're going to talk about this, but let me just, for the most part, the general consensus was that it was good, but it didn't meet Disney's expectations.
Exactly. They changed the directors about halfway through the film, and as you're watching, you could definitely tell the way the style changed from one director to another because the way everything went from one to another. But this was a film that people just didn't see that they should have made because it wasn't a character that everybody really wanted to see for like where he came from or anything like that. It was like there's other great characters that everybody wants to see, but they went with the one that really people wanted to see. And even the actor, I forgot his name,
Aldrich Eiderring.
Yeah, even his portrayal as Han Solo, a lot of people were kind of iffy on because they say they didn't really kind of felt like he felt, if it didn't really feel like the Han Solo that we knew and loved and stuff like that. It didn't really feel like, I mean, he did a good job doing his best, but it's like some people had little issues here and there. But let's just watch this and see what issues they had with this film and what they dealt with pretty much as watching it. So here we go again for Cinema Sins, everything wrong with Solo, a Star Wars story. So here we go.
Not having the yellow text opening crawl is the new black. But still reading. How omniscient are these opening titles supposed to be? Normally they're essentially biographical, telling us about the status of the rebellion or the fine details of trade agreements and their impact on intergalactic legislation. But this is telling us what's in the heart and mind of Han Solo. I don't think even Han knows what's really in the heart and mind of Han Solo in this movie. Adding a Star Wars story to the end of this film's title is really infuriating. Like, we need to know that Han Solo is part of the Star Wars universe. Or maybe they were concerned about being confused as a reboot for that Mario Van Peebles cyborg movie. Mario Van Peebles.
What was that?
So goddamn important to all the movies up until
now.
now.
The dice.
This is worth
600 credits. That's more than you said we'd need.
to buy our way out of the control zone and off Corellian.
You guys are just reminding each other you both already know. Expositional aspiration. Exasperation? Lady Proxima is a prawn, basically. She spends her time underwater and only emerges in this dramatic fashion when business requires it. I can totally see how she came to power in this almost entirely above-land society. Premature celebration.
Thought we'd get a little more of a head start.
Yeah, what's up with that? Dude left well after Han, and it's not like they've been puttering along toward the airport. Not to mention he knew exactly where they were going. Sure, it makes sense that they'd make a run for the launch pad, but what if they decided to lay low for a few days? Solo, a Tokyo drift story.
Tokyo drift story.
Did I hear Wilhelm in there? I'm almost positive I did. So does that make it a Han? A Wilhelm?
Oh,
It's the point that I realize this has been a pretty low-speed chase for the last minute or so. I honestly haven't been this riveted since that scene in Mitchell.
Sold to Crimson Dawn or the Hutt Cartel.
It's not gonna happen. I won't let it.
Character says he won't allow something to happen immediately before allowing that exact thing to happen cliché. Han palming the dice to the Targaryen here 100% foretells that she's coming back before the movie ends, because I saw The Last Jedi, goddammit. Also, here's another sin for The Last Jedi. Just because I can. Several reasons. First, why wouldn't Moloch immediately check the line for the immigrants? Isn't that the only place Han and Kira could get through to escape? Also, there aren't even that many people here. Like, a quick swing around this tiny terminal would easily turn up your fugitives. I'm not saying that I'm rooting for Moloch to do this I'm just saying it's stupid that he didn't.
Common sense.
Convenient recruitment center is massively convenient.
What? Who are your people? I'm on. Solo.
Give me a goddamn break. Also,
Give me a goddamn break.
Rolo Solos.
Give me a goddamn fucking break.
Around to the right. Mouthy Scooch is all of the following: a hilarious insult, a Canadian nickname for a yappy dog, a popular spicy Albanian cola drink, and the name of my new R-rated Scottish family.
Stick the soldiering, kid. You don't want any part of it.
Not since Tim Meadows in Walk Hard has someone said a more enticing and phony "you don't want any part of this" line.
3 hours, we move out for the southern marshlands.
Besides the introduction of Beckett, what does any of this bring to the table? Do we really need several scenes of war footage and strategy speeches?
I'll do whatever it takes to get back to Corellia. I've already been away too long.
It's been 3 years, though, right? If Han's this intent on going AWOL from the Empire, is this movie telling me he really hasn't had a chance before now?
That is true.
Should be fun.
So, up until now, Chewie was just eating all his cellmates? That's dark, little Ronnie Howard, dark. Han survives this. Also, they make it sound like Chewie's a ravenous badass, and of course, we know he can rip a fool's arms off if he wants. So why all this playing with his food? He hasn't eaten in 3 days. Han should be all the dead right now. I guess it's kind of funny that Han already speaks Wookiee, but it sure does create an easy escape for both of them that is uber convenient. Wow, good thing there are no troops around this Imperial ship that is currently being hella stolen.
Thanks for helping me get out of there.
Nice sentiment and all, but is this the first chance they've had to have this conversation? They made it all the way to another planet, and they just shared a shower together. That's a perfect place to chat.
Chewbacca? Alright, well, you're gonna need a nickname, because I ain't saying that every time.
Har har har. This movie could have been great if you spent less time paying so much lip service to the films that came before. A nod here, a hand job there. It could be obvious to the viewer, and therefore less enjoyable. You might as well have him turn to the camera and tell the audience, "You love me? I know!"
Our whole future depends on this one school, and you bring in amateurs.
Gotta side with Val here. Why would Beckett bring in amateurs for their one final score? This is like Danny Ocean bringing the actual Bruce Willis into their heist in Ocean's 12.
I waited a long time for a shot like this. I'm not about to screw it up.
You know, I bet Han's palms are sweaty right now. His knees must also be weak, since he's sitting. Those arms definitely look heavy. Man, what's that on his sweater? Mom spaghetti?
Have you ever tried to disinvite a Wookiee to anything? Not a good idea.
Damn it, Rio is one of the most fun characters in this movie, and I'm sending the out of it for killing his ass way too early.
Yeah, it sucks.
Girl, Han, is she nice? Does she have sharp teeth?
Man, Jon Favreau is discount Steve Buscemiing so hard here, I literally had to check IMDb 3 times to make certain it was Jon Favreau, not Steve Buscemi. Huh, what do you know? White men can jump. Why does it take 3 individuals to do the on the train? They're essentially just tying some cables down. But no one wants to help Val with the much more dangerous part of the mission? I'm just saying, if they didn't have Chewie and Han, this would have probably gone much smoother.
Coaxing. Enough to power a fleet.
Fucking fuel.
Here they come!
Fucking.
Get down to the couplers!
What the hell? There was no part of the plan that Beckett laid out earlier that involved getting shot at by armed guards. Also, if there is a security presence on this train, why the hell are they all the way back there? Isn't this the most valuable compartment by far?
Yeah, it's
Off.
true.
I looked it up. Chewie's 7'3" and almost 112 kilograms, which is Canadian for 250 pounds. Ain't no way Han is pulling him back on the train with one f***ing hand. The enemy soldiers have magnetic boots, which, given the amount of raw planning Woody and company did, is something the heist crew should all be wearing as well.
That is true. They kind of fucked up on
First
that
fight,
front.
Han
Yeah.
is given an opportunity to prove his piloting skills. What are the f***ing odds?
You aren't lying, kid. You're a hell of a pilot.
Thanks for telling me. Honestly, nothing he's done so far looked remotely complicated, but thanks to your trained eye, which I trust because you also are a pilot, I now know he truly is a hell of a pilot. She just killed herself so the score could carry on. For money. For her husband and his crew. She didn't think her life was worth more than a score.
Oh, it gets so much worse when you find out about where you listen.
Oh, yeah.
But not her. It's not like her death is for the greater good or anything. This is an attempt to steal for profit. Sorry, this death has no emotional weight for me because it makes no
It doesn't.
logical sense. This movie suffers from a common cinema affliction these days. Last-second-itis. As though every bomb exploding, train derailing, airplane crashing, vehicle skidding toward a cliff, as though all that utterly requires being pushed to the very last second, which it does not. Tension does not require razor-edge margins of victory. Galaxy Quest made fun of this garbage writing almost 20 years ago.
Yeah.
10 cup-proof tense finales don't even require protagonist victory, as though them pulling up the train car 200 yards sooner and us watching the rest of the cars fall to their deaths wouldn't have been as thrilling.
That's actually a good point.
Han releases the payload anyway to aid their escape, making Tandy's sacrifice even less meaningful than it already was. And it started out at f***ing 0. Jesus. If you wanted Woody to suffer loss and his lady to die in a heroic way, I can think of a dozen better ways you could have written this.
We were hired by Crimson Dawn.
Isn't that the group that Hans Gruber read about in Time magazine?
To rip the risk.
How would you? This is the quickest I've seen a civilian fully commit to a life of crime since the Amazing Yen in Ocean's 11. In this movie's version of a rich crime lord's space yacht penthouse, we have a singer with a Bane pacifier and half a Shazam-themed Lazy Susan on her head, beside one of the more disgusting Ripley clone fails from Alien Resurrection, plus thousands of sequins. Paul Bettany, now having appeared in Star Wars and Marvel movies, is hereby literally 30%
Oh
off.
my Disney.
I
True.
work here.
As I've said before, space is really, really big. So what are the odds Han and Kira find each other on this f***ing yacht? Please, someone with an advanced mathematics degree, show me what the actual f***ing odds are of this happening. And if you come back with an interstellar type love answer, I will
fucking scream at you.
That is good news, because you're going with him.
This is weird. Suddenly he doesn't trust someone. So he sends Khaleesi on the mission even though he also doesn't fully trust her. What the
I got that reference.
Boy, this is some geographical oddity, isn't it? Not only did the heist occur on Vandor 1, and Voss decided to bring his yacht to that planet, there's also a very famous smuggler with an incredibly fast ship on this same planet, within walking distance.
Charisma, not to mention his prodigious.
I get it.
Is that a cock joke thrown in the middle of a Star Wars movie? I think that was a cock joke thrown in the middle of a Star Wars.
All we need is his ship.
Well, he'll never part with it. He loves that ship.
Is there literally only one ship in the entire universe they can use?
That
for their
is
caper?
also
If
true.
so, maybe
But we have to get the Millennium Falcon, you
Bad
know.
odds from where I sit.
The seat taken? Nobody's in the seat, then ain't taken, friend.
Wow, this might apply for a poker game. Or at least this poker game. But as a general life rule, this is some terrible f***ing advice. Try this empty seats are claimable bullshit with the director's chair on a movie set. Or at the Masters. Or in Buckingham f***ing Palace. Also, a movie takes nearly an hour in Lando, and that's definitely a sin.
Anything, Han? That's Han, but that's okay.
This attempt to retcon Billy D. Williams' odd pronunciation of the name in the original trilogy makes me super angry. Not everything we wondered about needs a f***ing explanation. God,
That's
modern
true.
movies wanna
That was the
stamp
biggest
out
problem with this
human
movie.
imagination
It was
rather than-
They dropped
It
too many
was
nods.
not a palooza.
This alien poker game that ultimately means nothing since no one knows how it's played.
I'll see you 2,000, and I'll raise you.
However much this is,
Splash in the pot.
I'm calling with what?
My ship. Against your ship.
Yeah, but that's not how calling works. Han put his chips into the pot, which was on top of the $2,000 bet. So if Lando calls with his ship, it's to cover the chips that are on the table.
Can you move? We're making the Kessel then.
This movie makes the Kessel Run sound famous, but then immediately points out how impossible it is, which means only a few could have even tried it, making me wonder how it ever got famous, other than the mention in the original trilogy, of course.
I'm gonna need half the take.
You don't even know how much the take is, though. Why speak in fractions before you even know the total haul in dollars or credits or whatever's?
I'm gonna flip your switch! Good luck finding it.
Is that a G-spot joke thrown in the middle of a Star Wars movie? 'Cause
I think that was a
G-spot
G-spot joke,
thrown in the middle of
too.
a Star Wars movie.
And what if I don't elect to go to Kessel?
Please don't start.
She said that, and then he waited hundreds of steps until they were all the way outside on the ramp before he responded with "Don't start." Can Hollywood start coming up with less lazy transitions so dialogue doesn't get used as sinew between unconnected shots?
I actually would have a memory wipe. Which has got the best damn navigational database in the galaxy.
Seems like the Star Wars movies are f***ing littered with people that are the best,
Best
at
something
something
in
in the
the
galaxy.
We've attached the homing beacon. They won't elude us now.
Yeah, but they didn't elude you before either, right? You showed up to f*** up the train heist just in time. Also, how did Enfys know they were going out to get more Coaxi? It's not like she was in the meeting with Voss. And even if she saw Han and Lando together, there's no way she'd know for sure what they were up to.
My dad worked the line of the CEC plan before he got laid off. He built these.
Someone thought Han needed a personal connection to the Millennium Falcon, so this dad got written, and none of the smart people on this production managed to stop it before it got filmed and made the final cut. Look, this guy doesn't look like Han or sound like Han, but somehow he still feels like Han, and that is enough.
There
It's kind
you
of
go.
amazing. I'll take a sit on. While you guys
I love
cheer
that.
up or get horny
Let's face it,
watching
it's like he does a
passionately
good
kiss
enough
some
job.
non-Princess Leia woman, I'd like to point out a more important issue, which is that these rods have nothing to keep these hangers from sliding off. Someone really wanted the hangers to have unbroken circles at the top, meaning we needed closet rods with open ends. But then they stopped there.
I love it. That make-out session was fucking rods, man.
I hear this move is called Mickey Knox Block and Cock.
We got a good thing going here. Me, you, Chewie.
Yeah.
Right? The makings of a solid crew.
You just had 2 other crew members killed in a failed heist, asshole.
It's true.
Everyone will betray you and you will never be disappointed.
Jesus Christ, can Beckett telegraph he's gonna eventually turn on Han any harder?
Yeah.
It was so obvious.
L3's quest for droid citizenship is played for laughs here, but we won't be laughing when the robots start asking for rights here in the real world. We'll be screaming at the latest horror film directed by a robot, as we scarf down popcorn made by a robot, in a home theater made by robots, while a robot someone's girlfriend jerks off my robot.
That works.
No, seriously, how the f*** does that work? God damn it, movie's dropping all kinds of odd sex references here with no follow-up, simply because it thinks the idea is funny. I want to see how that works.
Do not improvise.
Saying this to Han Solo in a movie named after him seems like wasted breath and time for everyone involved, including me. Fucking dice are back. Yep, we're even squeezing Lando's Return of the Jedi helmet into this thing because do all the nostalgia. After Rogue One, I'm not surprised, but I am disappointed.
I haven't seen Rogue One.
Sure, the droids are taking
No, I
after
haven't seen
training
it.
You gotta
roles,
watch it.
whatever the those are, but how would that modify their programming? They're probably grateful, but once they're off, they all turn into William Wallace? Holy
He takes a sit off for that
has an
one.
external set of sensitive sex organs in the exact same place as a human. Jesus, there are more crotchal references in this movie than I remembered.
You guys are not gonna believe what I'm seeing up here.
You better come take a look at this cliche. Chewbacca ex machina. Chewbacca? So let's immediately start firing at this large supply of a highly unstable element. L3
This is
isn't
so
gonna make
stupid.
it, so Lando goes in. Then Lando isn't going to make it, so Han goes in. Then Han isn't going to make it, so Wookiee goes in. This is
You like the rest of this?
missing dolls of action scene right. I'm legit surprised Chewie didn't run into trouble and cause Khaleesi to have to come out here too.
Wait,
What?
you're
Where the hell
right.
have those motherfuckers been this whole time? I know he's sad and we're supposed to be sad, but I can't help but think, dude, you f***ed a robot. That's whack.
Could use a co-pilot.
Now watch Chewie die inside for the next few seconds.
You can't make the Kessel Run in less than 20 parsecs.
Fucking parsecs. Are they distance? Are they time? You don't know. The entire Star Wars community doesn't know. This whole trial is out of order.
Attica! Attica!
To the nostril. Can't do it without all three. Possible we can download her brain into the Falcon's Nava computer, right?
Could we?
Theoretically.
Well, you got 5 seconds to test that theory, you time-wasting arguing dicks. Also, leave it to Han to basically break the Kessel Run record by cheating. He's the James T. Kirk of this particular Kesselashi Maru.
Army on us. Like Rasnov on a Kylan.
I don't know what that means.
I'm telling you, I don't know what that means. It's
Kill
become
the
the
cheat.
modern comedic equivalent of, did I do that?
Burn auxiliary power to the rear deflector shield.
Because we're now showing a run Han famously bragged about making in record time distance, we're robbed here as viewers of the chance to feel any tension for like more than 10
true.
minutes. The characters feel tension, but they're paid actors. I know he makes it and does so in record fashion, so all these speed bumps along the way are
One of the
just
things I hate
regular.
about prequels.
Just part of the ship now.
Awesome. So all that talk a few minutes ago about how difficult this would be was bullshit, right? This took 1 cable and 2 seconds. Buckle in now, fans, as we follow Han again while he pilots this ship again, away from a sudden ginormous space alien again. Again. This movie has 2 new ideas and everything else is just a callback, an homage, a ripoff, or an audience applause break. This goes Han for some time.
Now! Now!
This doesn't work? What the hell? I had a raging sin boner, and now the movie subverted it by sacrifice. Oh, that's the stuff. This works.
Just did the Kessel Run in 12 parsecs.
Great, kid. Don't get cocky. God damn it, this movie left no nostalgia stone unturned, and it's offensive.
Beckett.
The fuck? There were panels ripped off the fucking Falcon when they were trying to fly it out of the gravity well, but the movie saying Enfys Nest's aftermarket tracking thingamajig stayed on and kept working that entire time. Okay, Nest and her crew end up being the seeds of the rebellion, which is a cool twist and all, but what was with all that threatening earlier in the movie? They've literally tried to kill Beckett before, and did kill Rhea, but now that Beckett has the coaxium, we're just gonna have a powwow? Really seems like they shoehorned this rebel storyline in here hard.
They
I need
did.
a drink.
Yeah.
Bring them inside.
This bartender should be fired. It's like 3 sips of alcohol you just spilled on the table, you ass.
Not this time. I'm leaving.
Hang on, is he pretending to run? Like, without the prophets or the coaxium? How the f*** would Han actually believe this?
By some miracle, you make it out of here. Find me on Tatooine.
What's on Tatooine?
Why would Beckett even mention this? He knows Han's coming up to see Voss, and wants the outcome to be certain death. So why say anything at all, unless you're just trying to cram another nostalgic storyline reference in?
I don't know everything.
No, just a bit more than you.
It's not like Han is just missing small signals of pending betrayal of his common
Ability.
villain. It's right in his face.
Oh, I'm talking about my other associate. Can you come in and join us, please?
Dum dum dum! I mean, who the f*** else was it gonna be?
Yeah,
I'm
yeah.
also an entrepreneur. I mean, you of all people understand that.
You're making a huge mistake.
What about this situation got Beckett all horned up to take the coaxium? Even before the subterfuge, everyone was terrified of Dryden Voss and wouldn't cross him. Now we're perfectly fine stealing directly in front of him?
Go, I'm right behind you.
Even if Han weren't clouded by his boner, shouldn't he get a few more details? Are they meeting at the refinery? Is she backing him up against Beckett? Where are they getting his ship? I'm just saying a few more lines of dialogue would make this villain turn a little harder to predict. Oh no, it's Darth Maul! And between him, the Force Ghosts, and Leia's Space Odyssey and Last Jedi, there goes my ability to get it up for any major character's death in this franchise.
Kira, you and I will be working much more closely from now on.
I don't know
It's
about
like
that.
that same
dude.
we're
Used to
voicing
knock
him,
off
but it's
numbers.
the
Still
original
paying
actor
attention,
playing
but
him.
now I'm going to tell you the most important.
Movie takes a firm stance on whether or not Han is the type to shoot first.
Yeah, that's what that
You
was.
walk away with enough to get yourself your own little ship. You call. I'm gonna clean you out again.
The movie does give us a little more Lando, which is always welcome, but this ending feels more tacked on than the Jai-Ho sequence at the end of Slumdog Millionaire.
Beckett said he heard about this very big gangster putting together a job.
God damn it, we're cramming Jabba into this story too? Everything important in Han's life happened within a week.
One.
Why do they have to be snakes?
Stick to soldiering, kid. No, I ain't running. And you don't want no part of this. What company do you...
None of your business, company. And we're full up.
Sell crazy someplace else. We're all stocked up here.
A day. Sometimes, a lot of times, I think.
I appreciate your honesty. You're a real straight shooter. It's no big deal. Whatever.
Yeah, I had to try one on.
Knock it! Then why'd you do it?
That's why, baby.
Are you using my babies now?
You use my babies now?
Yeah, for the most part, it's the general consensus what I don't like about prequels and what this movie suffered from on top of all that. Prequels, like, you know what's coming.
Yeah.
But the problem with Solo was, you know what's coming, but then it's sprinkled with every single Han Solo Star Wars reference you can think of.
That's the problem they had with it, is that they were so focused on throwing all this nostalgia of things that you remember from the original that made him who he is, or certain little things, stuff like that. It's like you didn't really focus on the story. There is ways where you could do that and still have a solid good story and still have it in naturally, though, for a lot of these things. Even with the Kessel Run, I'm sitting there going, wait a minute, when was the Kessel Run? I'm even sitting there going, when was the Kessel Run finished?
Yeah.
It's like, I thought, to be honest, when I heard the Kessel Run, I thought, okay, they're trying to fly through this very dangerous tunnel or something like that, or very dangerous area they're trying to fly through, but, as fast as they can. Here, it's like, I didn't know where it started, where it began. I really didn't know. It just felt, that's what I said. It wasn't a bad movie. It was a good movie. It's just that it was brought down with so much nostalgia.
Too much.
Too much of nostalgia in here. Was not focused too much on the story. There's a lot of parts in it that just made no sense, where they could have easily made it better or just took the scene out completely. And a lot of obvious scenes that were going to be coming up later on that was too obvious.
Yeah, and there was a couple of good parts from Simpsons guy himself.
Yeah.
Like when Chewie just knocked that guy into the ceiling. You go, holy shit!
He took a sit off of that pretty much because it was.
Oh, then the thing about robots taking over, and at the end, all of my ex-girlfriend be giving me a hand job with my robot
dick.
Cock.
Yeah. Yeah, it brought up a lot of, stuff that a lot of people already knew already. That's what this is, and it just dived deeper into it, and that was the downside to this film. And that's like they announced, we're not going to have a Star Wars films every year, and just to hear that, it's like, thank you. Because if you think about it, it gives them time. If they know what they're doing now, it gives them time to actually start focusing more on the story than just, we got to get this movie out.
Well, let's be honest, though. The only thing that really suffered from this was the transition of directors.
Yeah, that was
the biggest And
again, like I said, you could tell as you're watching the film, you could tell where the transition made, because there are certain scenes that are completely different than how they're made. When the other director took it over. Yeah. So that's all. That was. I think they just had a lot of troubles, and that's like it's like they have to stop and take a breather. Perfect example is pretty much them trying to work on the next Tron movie. They're like, we need to stop, and it's because of what happened to Tomorrowland film.
Well, because Tomorrowland bombed. They didn't want to invest in another heavily CG movie.
It's like they realized we need to stop and start focusing. Here, they're starting to realize that with their Star Wars films, going, maybe we should stop and focus on more of the stories that we get out, that we want to get out,
right,
instead of doing it every single year.
Right.
So that's what this was suffering, and hopefully they pick up and they do a better job later on. And you still have to watch Rogue One.
Whatever, it's not. I still have to watch it, but it's not one of those things where it's required for me to watch. I mean, I can watch it whenever, and I still will be fine with it. I heard mixed things about it, but it doesn't stop me from not wanting to watch it. So
watch it.
It's one of those things where I'll probably watch them. So other than that, if you're new to the channel, you can hit the like button. If you want to talk some more about stuff like this, comment down below. If you want to share it around. And if you like us just a little bit more than anybody else when it comes to talking about CinemaSins, hit the subscribe button down below and hit that bell icon as well.
Let us know what you guys thought of the CinemaSins. Do you think there was so much more? Or do you think they hit it right on the nail, pretty much thinking the same thing you are? And same thing that we said, pretty much overall, what this video enticed, which is, of course, huge bunch of nostalgia. They didn't focus too much on the story, and just a little bits that they brought up here. Let us know what you guys thought of our reaction as well, but most importantly, we thank you for watching.
So until next time, I'm Kristen.
I'm Christopher.
And this has, of course, been a very not so solo-filled episode of SRB.
See you
Later.
Hey guys, thanks for watching.
If you want to check out our previous reactions,
as well as our other shows,
click the playlist down below.
And if you want to check us out in the social universe,
you can check us out on Twitter
as well as Stardust
@SuperReactBros.